What's up? It's Ben from WODprep, and we are here with a special guest. You might have seen her before on the channel. Her name is Lindsay. We are here to teach you about the 6 key attributes of a great CrossFit coach. So if you are a coach or an aspiring coach, or if you're trying to judge whether or not your coaches are any good, this is going to be a great video and it's going to help you out a lot. Really quick, for those who don't know, Lindsay, tell us a little bit more about what makes you the expert in this video.
Thank you. So I actually work for CrossFit headquarters, level 3 trainer, but I'm also on seminar staff. So I teach level 1 and level 2s, as well as do the entire coach development and internship process at the local affiliate that I work at as well.
She's a red shirt. She's the people who teach people how to teach CrossFit, which is awesome. And it's something that at one point I did aspire to do. And then this little thing called WODprep got in the way and it distracted me. But we are here today to talk about the 6 key attributes of a CrossFit coach. If you are a coach, maybe you're already training people. If you're a coach that's trying to learn how to actually coach better, and more specifically, run a better business of coaching, I have some important information you might be interested in. I'm actually running a bit of a mentorship group to help people learn how to run online fitness businesses. If you want to learn more about that, stick around. I'll tell you where to grab that information at the end of the video. But first, we need to talk about what makes a great CrossFit coach. The first key attribute is teaching. What does that mean?
Teaching. So when we're talking about teaching, we're talking about how to simplify our knowledge into digestible information for athletes to understand. You're taking a large body of knowledge, distilling it into an easy way to communicate it. That's it.
A great example of this in other industries are people who are really, really smart. They know all the technical lingo, they know everything there is to know about a subject, but they can explain it to a 5th grader. A common example that's used here is Richard Feynman. He's an amazing scientist. He's famous for being able to explain really complex physics in a simple and easy to understand manner. This is actually something that I try to pride myself on here at WODprep, is making things or taking things that are very complex and complicated, like the sport of fitness, and tweaking it and modifying it so that I can teach you in a simplified manner. So if you're good at teaching, if you have this first attribute, you're able to take all the knowledge that exists up here and put it into an athlete's brain in a simple and easy to understand way. Key attribute number 2 is seeing. Seeing, I'm looking at the athlete, right?
Seeing is a little bit more involved than that. Seeing involves being able to evaluate mechanics as sound or unsound, if you're in a good position or not so good position.
Okay, so for instance, if I'm squatting like this, technically my hip crease is... Hopefully you heard the knees cracking. Technically my hip crease was getting below the top of my knee. A bad coach might not notice that my mechanics were a little off. So seeing is being able to notice when things have gone awry or when they're correct.
Yeah, you have to be able to look at mechanics not only when the athlete's moving, but also dynamic positions, but also in static positions too. And be able to see not only specific body parts, but maybe cross sections of body parts.
Excellent. So can you see whether or not it's right or wrong or safe or unsafe, things like that. Key attribute number 3 is correcting. So correcting is where you take a ruler and you smack them and then they get better, right? Is that how you correct?
That's not. Yeah.
What is correcting?
Yeah. So correcting is being able to make noticeable change in athlete's mechanics.
All right, we see the athlete who's squatting terribly, like I did earlier. Yes. Being good at correcting or having this attribute is being able to say or touch or do something that makes the athlete have a positive change.
You got it.
Okay, so basically, are you getting the athlete the results that we're after? So maybe a good anti-example of this is, as a coach, you might have told me something along the lines of, what would you have told me in that squatty position?
Well, there was a lot going on, but I think one of the main things that we could do here, since your knees were touching, is maybe just push the knees out.
Okay, so if as an athlete, I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. All right, I'll push the knees out. Like, yeah, no worries. Okay, I've got them going that way. Even though she did a good correction by lots of standards, and that would have helped a bunch of athletes, it wasn't necessarily a good correction in that moment. You would need, as a coach, to do something different in order to get me to do what you want.
Yeah, definitely saying the same thing in many different ways is super advantageous for making or communicating with humans.
Because I don't know about you, I see a lot of coaches that only have one cue. They only have one phrase like, drive your knees out. The athlete doesn't do it. All right, drive your knees out, right? You have to have, it's almost like having a toolkit of different styles of corrections. And we could go into multiple videos and hours worth of content on specific types of corrections, but we won't. But it's important to have a big toolkit of different ways you can get that athlete to drive their knees out. Give me one more example. How would you get me to drive my knees out if I'm not listening to that example?
Yeah, you could definitely do a visual cue. So orientate yourself in front of your athlete, show the fault, hey, you're doing this, and then show the contrast of that. Hey, can you do this? Super simple. Yeah.
Love it. Key attribute number 4 of a great coach is group management. Oh my gosh, I still remember the first time I had to coach a class that was over 15 people, and it just about did me in, but it was an amazing test of my group management skills. When you're teaching people about group management, what do you primarily focus on here?
This really speaks to logistics so that you can provide a really awesome client experience. So planning out everything ahead of class helps you navigate all the little intricacies that can go wrong, so then you can focus on giving the people what they want.
For everyone here for the 3:30 class, start doing some mobility, and we'll start the 3:30 class probably at around 4:30 or 5.
Yeah, and you probably have noticed as an athlete or even as a coach, great coaches seem to always be 1 or 2 steps ahead. They know exactly where the class is going. They miraculously have the warm-up end right where athletes need to grab the equipment for the next, and it's just everything is flowing smoothly because most of these great coaches have pre-planned the structure of their class. While we were actually brainstorming for this video, you talked about how a lot of people view lesson plans as restrictive, but as Jocko Willink says, discipline equals freedom. So having that discipline of that structure of some sort of lesson plan allows you to just be so much more free, and it also helps you be present. If we don't have a plan for these things, it's very easy to miss out on some of the other key attributes of a coach, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're chronically thinking about your next step, you're not going to be able to give the corrections or have the personality that people want to see you for.
Now, if we're really good at managing a group, but we don't have key attribute number 5, it all crashes and burns. Key attribute number 5 is presence and attitude. What does that mean?
This comes down to your care, empathy, and passion. This is typically something that I can't teach you. You have to really care about the humans that are in front of you more than sometimes they care for themselves, because that transcends everything else that we do.
Hey, can you go start the clock for everybody? All right, sweet. Hey, good job, guys. Awesome work. And time.
I would argue that someone who has care, empathy, and passion that isn't really good at any of the other things we've talked about probably will impact more lives positively than someone who's great at steps 1 through 4 and has no care, empathy, or passion. Especially no passion that bleeds into their members. And I've probably done it in the past. I know not everyone shows up chipper and happy, but I've certainly been to some gyms where I'm that coach, that head coach has all the knowledge up here in the world, and maybe they're good at cueing and correcting and seeing and all that stuff, but they coach class like they don't care. Like, all right, everybody, go grab, I don't care, like go grab a dumbbell or something. All right, let's group up. Right, like you were not gonna be changing people's lives most likely in that instance, or you're not gonna be influencing people with passion.
If you go to a class and it's like chewing on gravel, like nobody wants to go to that class, you're like, hey, we want to, our job is to educate, entertain, and inspire people. And if you're uninspired, then people are going to notice.
Thomas, yes, you're doing it. I'll count for you, man. 1, 2. Yeah. Awesome work, everyone. Keep going. Keep repping it out. Let's go CrossFit.
Yeah, and we're not saying that you need to play the role of entertainer. We've all seen the quintessential coach that just tries to entertain people and they're, woo, like cracking jokes and like they're just trying to be an entertainer and they have no substance behind it. But true like passion and trying to get people excited and motivated, there's a very fine line there. But if you have it, you will do great things, especially if you can stack all the other key attributes on top of it. So above all, make sure that you have key attribute number 5. The last and not least, 6th key attribute of a great CrossFit coach is demonstration. When I first read this, I immediately assumed it meant, oh, when you're demonstrating in the front of the class, you need to make sure that your movement looks decent, because monkey see, monkey do. If I am demonstrating my air squat like I did earlier, and I'm trying to get other people to squat really well, it's not going to connect. But it's so much deeper than that, right?
Well, that is very important because, yeah, monkey see, monkey do.
It is important to move well. That's important.
They will do exactly what you do. It really speaks to the culture that you're creating and your space. And if you're coaching, you are recognized as a leader, and that leadership will trickle down to the rest of the folks that are in the gym. So if you never scale a workout, why should they scale a workout? If you don't follow the gym's programming, why should they follow the gym's programming?
Lead by example. That's something that I actually have, not tattooed, but I have it embroidered inside one of my suits because I'm so passionate about that. As a coach, regardless of whether you view yourself as a leader, you are a leader. You are literally leading a class, and more people than you probably think look up to you and say, well, what are they doing? Chances are you might be fitter than a lot of people at your gym, and some of those are like, well, they're so fit, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Oh, they're not doing any of the advice that they tell me to do. I'm not gonna follow what they tell me. I'm gonna do as they do. So you have to lead by example. That's both in movement and by the way that you carry yourself, both inside and outside of the gym. So with that being said, to wrap up this video, Lindsay has these all memorized on the top of her head. So she's gonna go through all 6. What are the 6 key attributes of a great CrossFit coach?
They're teaching, seeing, correcting, group management, presence and attitude, and demonstration.
Love it. I hope that you like this video. In the comments below, in your opinion, what do you think is the most common missing attribute? Whether you're a coach or whether you're someone who attends CrossFit gyms or whether you're someone who's never been to one and just has a football coach or something like that. What is the number one missing attribute? Write that in the comments below. I'd be really curious. What do you think the number one missing attribute is?
I think a lot of it comes down to teaching, seeing, and correcting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that side of the equation is really where people struggle.
For me, I'm gonna have to go with demonstration. I think a lot of people, they give advice, but they don't take their own, and that is very conflicting. So I'm interested. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Last but not least, if you are a coach who is already coaching people, but you wanna level up your coaching business, I've actually started a mentorship program called the Rising Coach Collective with a couple of my friends, Coach Andy and Coach Emil, or Dr. Emil, really. We have banded together to create a mentorship program to help online fitness coaches level up their business. If you want to learn more about that, just click the link in the description or in the top comment below. You can see if we're currently accepting applications to join us in this group. It's pretty awesome. If you're an athlete that's just trying to level up your own skill level, just go to WODprep.com. I have so many free pieces of training I would love to send you. All you have to do is enter your name and email. Thumbs up if you like Lindsay, thumbs down if you hate me, and smash the subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos. We are making a few more today, and you don't want to miss them.
All right, every guy in the class, let's go for a 2-mile jog. And then ladies, circle up. We're gonna practice some deadlifts with tactile cueing. We're gonna really make sure that you're hinging at the hips. Oh, don't worry, I'll help you clean up.